Let's talk about some of the reactions of the biggest video game disappointments of all time. Fallout 76, people complained, made memes, and moved on by not buying the game or refunding it. Mass Effect Andromeda, people complained, made memes, and moved on by not buying the game or refunding it. Sonic Forces, people complained, made memes, and moved on by not buying the video game or refunding it. But there's one major important thing about all these games, and it's that most people gave it a chance before it came out, saving their criticism when the game was officially out. Nah, when the Pokemon game has a slight inconvenience, there's a smudge in Gen 8!
It's riot time!
Gen 8! Y'all act like you dealt with 400 years of slavery because a gaming company removed a virtual pet from a piece of entertainment that you can ignore. Newsflash, y'all ain't the only ones getting disappointed about a video game, but you guys think you're so special and protesting like a video game company has never made anything disappointing before. Now, I have nothing against criticism like I said before. I've actually been one of Pokemon's hardest critics in the past few years, but y'all protesting about a video game that wasn't even out yet is the saddest shit I've ever seen. A reasonable video game protest is Blizzard trying to silence one of their competitive players for having a political opinion, ruining their income. But Game Freak didn't add your favorite Pokemon and y'all are riding like there's no other positives to the game. But yo Afro, Game Freak lied to us on the reason why Pokemon aren't added in the game. I got two things. You have every right to criticize Game Freak for lying, but stop treating it like a gay dude got thrown acid at him at a Chick-fil-A. Criticize, don't buy the game, and move on with your life. That's what any normal human being would do that values their free time or that actually have a life. And number two, stay consistent with your criticism. If you think Game Freak lying is a good reason to protest about Pokemon and not buying it, you shouldn't even have a Nintendo Switch. Nintendo is far from one of the most truthful companies, but you know why you don't care about Nintendo lying? Because you accepted the fact that there's a lot of positives to Nintendo that you enjoy, so you don't let the few and negatives affect the greater positives. So why can't you treat Pokemon the same way? I'm not asking you to buy Pokemon or blindly idolize it. I'm just asking for you to stay consistent with your criticism and not be biased to one little aspect. Same thing goes on with graphics. Y'all didn't care about how Pokemon looked like on the 3DS, but the second you hear your favorite Pokemon aren't in the game, you suddenly care about the graphic. Now apparently people saying the 240p screen looks better than a fucking 1080p. What the hell? You hear that? I'm laughing. I'm laughing how dumb y'all fucking Pokemon fans are. But Afro, Game Freak lied about the graphics and the animation getting away of adding more Pokemon. This was actually a fair point of critique against Game Freak. But before you really go assuming that they were completely lazy, try to understand what the Game Freak team was going through this year. They released 3 games, 2 of them being AAA games, and they are a small studio of 174 people. That's a lot of work for a company that can't delay making AAA games every year. There's obviously more to the situation than what I've said in that few seconds, but if you're going to critique something, try to understand it from the person you're critiquing's perspective. In this instance, Game Freak, before your Twitter fingers goes ahead and makes a false rape accusation. Honestly, I'm not even mad at people protesting about Pokemon personally. I'm just mad people are getting their opinions from Twitter images and videos instead of actually getting an opinion themselves by actually playing the game. But I have a message for the people on the other side. People who think criticism is bad or a negative thing in life. No, it is not. Anybody that criticizes a game is usually trying to help it if they're giving it fair criticism, aka fair. A company only improves with criticism. If we had no criticism, companies like EA, Blizzard, Activision, and even Nintendo can get away with every shitty thing that they do. Companies need criticism so they can improve off of their flaws. Last point I'm going to bring up is how I criticize games, and maybe you can actually learn from it. First of all, I kill off all my expectations from a game what I expect it to be so I can enjoy it as a new piece of media, not expecting anything. If the game isn't meant to continue any type of story from a previous title, I don't like thinking about the previous games because it sets up expectations that might not be reached because the developer didn't promise it in this newer game. Second, I determine if I'm forcing myself to play a video game or not. For example, I am a streamer. It would be reasonable for a streamer to force themselves to play a game because it's a new trend and you can get new viewers from it. Once playing video games becomes a job, you might be slightly bitter to it because you're not doing it for fun. You're doing it to keep your relevance up. which there's no problem with it, but you can have a slight bias against it because of this aspect. This could go for people that are also peer pressured by their friends to buy the game. Third, I take any note if I feel bored or frustrated in the game. This could be anything from really any glitches, poor battle system, long dialogue, unskippable cutscenes, anything that makes me feel bored. Anything that makes you feel like you could be spending your time on something better. Fourth, I see other people's opinions after I'm done playing the game to see if I'm being too nitpicky, or I can get it from someone else's perspective and said that on why they enjoy the things that I dislike. If I can understand and agree a reasonable explanation on why they enjoyed the said aspects I disliked, I consider it a matter of subjectivity and I don't let it affect my whole opinion on the game. I use this process also for the aspects I like and see if someone dislikes the aspects that I like. After that, if I do not enjoy the game, I consider what the company was going through and I compare it to its previous products to see if it's an improvement or if it's a downgrade from what we've originally had, in my opinion. And those are my 5 steps to reviewing a game. I was gonna go end off this video by saying my opinion on the new Pokemon game, but I'd rather leave that to watch for my streams. I don't want to say my opinion about the game because I think I'd ruin the message, since I don't want to seem like I'm biased against or towards Pokemon. So I'm just gonna end it off like that. Bye!
On my cell phone, late night when you